Hey, what's up? It's Tetris, and welcome to another episode of Billboard Book Club powered by TalkShopLive. And I'm here with Grammy-winning singer-songwriter, now author, Victoria Monet. How are you, girl?
Thank you. Wow, that was such a nice intro.
Well, you know, only for the best. You're glistening. You look amazing today.
You too. I was looking
Thanks.
at your skin. It looks amazing.
Stop now. Stop. We're having too much fun. We just started. And I want to tell everybody that while you're watching this talk shop today, you can pre-order this book. And guess what? If you do it today, it's going to come signed.
Ooh.
Yes, signed by Victoria herself. You're going to hit shop on TalkShopLive, or you're going to comment shop on Facebook or Instagram to get the link to the book. So let's talk about it. Right before we jump in, I just immediately, what are like 3 things you think people need to know about this book, Everywhere You Are?
Everywhere You Are is dedicated to parents with parent guilt. I don't want to say mom guilt, usually that's the phrase, but parent guilt, kids with separation anxiety, and it's a really great book.
Nice. And I mean, I love that you're tackling those kind of subjects like in
Yeah.
a kid's book so early on. So let's start there with why that subject matter and why you wanted to bring it to the forefront.
As a working mom, I find it really difficult to balance family life and work life. But I didn't want the narrative to be that I gave up my dreams to support my family. And I think that's been a narrative in a lot of moms' stories. When they give birth, they're like, oh, I gave it up for my child. And the reaction should be, great, I'm so happy you did that. That's out of love. But really, I think in the long run, it creates a resentment towards the child or resentment towards your role as a parent. So I wanted to create something that parents can read, that they can heal themselves while they read, and the children can take away something, and teaches them about the different versions of presence. And sometimes presence isn't physical, and we learn that even in church. You know, we learn that God is omnipresent, God is everywhere all at once, and you don't necessarily see, but you can feel. And so taking that same sentiment into parenthood was important for me, because I want my daughter to know that even when I'm not standing right next to her, the love is there, the presence is still there, I'm still doing it for all of us.
And I love that it's for the parents and the kids, so both parties can learn in a book like this. And when you were saying that, I did want to ask you, though, what's something that you feel like sticks out in your life professionally or personally that you do feel like you may have given up part of that you know, the parents feel guilt from?
I think that I gave up a little bit of the ability to be relaxed in work. When I go to work, I feel like time management is at the forefront, and I want to make sure that I can do what I used to do in 10 hours in 4 hours, because I need to balance, you know. I don't know if it's that I gave it up. I think that I put in the work and the 10,000 hours to be able to do so that I can be professional and accomplish the same greatness within a shorter period of time. And I know a lot of parents are multitasking, like we'll be on the phone, closing the fridge with the foot, and like making snacks for the children. So I know we're used to doing multiple things at once, but we're so good at it. And this book kind of gives you the opportunity to celebrate that and teach it versus kind of shy away from it and feel so guilty about doing you.
And I mean, you kind of did you in the style of writing for the book, lyrically, and with like a musical element. So how was it to kind of mix those two worlds together?
It felt really seamless, to be honest. I'm also a Dr. Seuss fan, though, and the writing there is pretty syncopated. So when I was writing this book, I think naturally as a songwriter, and this being my first book, there is an element of, there's cadences in there that you could probably make this into a song if you wanted to. I don't want to. I know, because people have asked, like, so you're going to make a musical to it? I'm like, no, I wanted to separate my authorship from my songwriting, and take it really seriously and not just lean on the fact that I'm a songwriter, and this is a completely different lane, and I'm really trying to ingrain something in the next generation, so it's super important to me that it's focused on authorship for
just lightly inspired by, we'll say.
Yeah. I mean, it's in me, so I am a songwriter, so I think you just automatically get that with me, but it wasn't meant to be a song, but I would be happy to see people making up songs to it or singing it to their children too. It's still beautiful.
And was there a moment with Hazel specifically that you can think back to that you were like, oh, I want to write about this. This is something I want to put in book form?
Yeah, I actually had another concept in mind when I first wrote the book. And just going through motherhood, I felt like this one should come first. It really signifies what I'm actually going through right now. And Hazel needed to hear this now. And I know that's the case for many other parents, but there will be more children's books from me that have other ideas and subjects that I want to tackle, but they're all going to be mental health based. You know, this in a way is a tribute to mental health, and then the next one that I have in my mind is also along those lines.
I mean, that seems really personal for you. So is there anything kind of difficult emotionally it was to like kind of put your relationship as a mother with your daughter in the public display?
I think that it was more inspiring to do so because I just know how many people are going through it, and maybe even having a tougher time than I am because I have a lot of help. I have the means to provide a nanny. My mom, she's still alive and well and coming down to help with Hazel. And some parents are not in that scenario where when they leave, they're really just kind of like out of the picture. They don't really have that loved one to check in with and make sure the baby's okay. Maybe they're at a school system where they're not really familiar with the teachers as closely as they would be with a family member. And some people don't live with their family in the same city. For example, my mom is in Sacramento, but it's so close that she can come down. But some people are in completely different states, countries. So I feel that it was important to send this message because I'm going through it. I just know there's millions more people dealing with the same, give and take, yeah.
We're going to talk to some of those people. I got my iPad over here.
All right.
See what the comments are. And just for everybody to know, again, if you want the autographed version of Everywhere You Are, you can hit shop on TalkShopLive, comment shop on Facebook or Instagram to get your copy. Now, let's get some of these fan questions in here. I try to act like I'm good at technology. I
love
always.
it.
Okay, great. Here we are. Okay, we got this from Amy. She has kind of two questions. She said, when does the book go on sale and what ages is the book for?
Oh, that's a good question. So the book goes on sale on June 24th, which is not too far from now, but it is available for pre-order right now. So if you're like me and you're an instinctive shopper, now's your time because it'll go back you'll forget about it if you don't. Do it now. Why wait? But I would say age-wise, probably from... Well, I started reading it to Hazel when she was 2. She's had iterations about like 1.5, 2.
How old is Hazel now?
She's 4.
Oh my goodness.
She just turned 4. It's crazy. She just graduated preschool. And she's still reading the book, so I would say probably up until 7 or 8. And at that point, the children can read the book themselves. So I feel like you can have your child read it to younger siblings or to you, because maybe the child is like, hey, I got to go to school, Mom. I can't be here with you today, so let's read this book so you can cope. And then I think there's messages for the reader, too. So it feels kind of like it spans multiple generations. But it's kind of up to you and your family to decide. It's really, really simple. So Hazel has, when she flips to a certain page, she's memorized it. So it's like easy one-liners, and that way I feel like the child can take this into their life and really remember it. So it's not too complex. You can really get it. Honestly, I think you guys will have to tell me what ages are really relating to the book. You let me know.
Ooh, okay. And Lauren is asking, how long did it take you to write the book? Because it sounds like you said there was different versions.
There was different iterations. At one point, there was a phrase within the book, and once you read it, you'll understand that didn't repeat. It was just kind of like there. And so early iterations, I was like, I think it just needs kind of like this hook so that it comes back every few pages and really sticks to the main message. And then small little tweaks here and there with a word that may have felt a little bit too like a negative connotation, and like flipping it to feel better. Just small tweaks. So Hazel was able to get the early versions of, which is really cool. It's almost like she was my editor. It's cool.
It's quite awesome.
Yeah.
And then, okay, Sasha from IG, she wants to know, did writing this book make you a better mother?
Oh, that's so sweet, Sasha. I feel like, yeah. Honestly, I think to have something to dedicate to her that she can read, regardless of if I'm here or not, or she'll have when she turns 50 and she's like, my mom dedicated this book to me. I feel like that just means so much. I know for me, my grandma, she was like one of my best friends, and she passed when I was in 2009, the year I moved to LA. And then going through boxes, my mom was discovering her handwritten recipes. So just to have that meant so much, and I was like, wow, like that feels like a message from her and things that I can carry on with me in my life from her. So I feel like, yeah, it feels better to have that from a loved one. Anything written down, anything that's a dedication to you, and you know that your love is, you'll always be able to reference that.
That's
So
really
I would say
special.
yes.
I love it. And then, guys, keep those questions coming in, and also keep purchasing. Hit shop on TalkShopLive. Comment shop on Instagram or Facebook. Okay, back to I got some more questions for you. I want
Okay.
to talk about the illustration. So, how was it
Yes.
working with Aaliyah, and what was that whole process like creatively?
In the beginning, when they were kind of explaining to me the sort of timeline, I wasn't sure how illustration and that process works. So I was like, oh, maybe Hazel can do a design later, or I can ask one of my creative directors, Jess, to do illustrations. But they had sent me probably a list of 20 20 illustrators with their artwork attached and their style. And while I was reading the lyrics, I would go through and look at each person's style, and I just knew when I saw hers, I was like, yeah, this is my person. She had really, really amazing use of colors, and it felt whimsical, and evoked the feelings that I wanted you to feel when you read the book. And she was able to characterize normal items. So, for example, the moon is not necessarily a character, but the way that she makes a moon look, you can sense the emotions of the moon or the star in each page. So that was really cool.
I mean, that sounds so stressful to me. You were like 20 versions, and I'm like, me being the Gemini over here, I'm like, that is way too many
Too much.
options.
Just give
like,
me
oh
three.
My God, girl.
Like in and out. 1, 2, or 3.
But I'm glad that
that
it connected with you because,
Yeah.
like, when you were writing, did you already have an idea for kind of how you wanted the visuals to look?
I had an idea that I wanted to feel really whimsical and magical and colorful. Like I had some descriptions that I wanted to nail, but I didn't know exactly what that would look like because there's so many variations of that, right? Like what does that actually mean? But when I saw it, I was like, okay, I think this is a direction. And we had small tweaks when she did the illustration to each page, just minor little details that I would go in and ask her to change, but super collaborative, super sweet, easy to work with, and yeah, I'm super happy to be collaborating with her on this book. And I think it had been interesting to learn about the process of this, because I think as an artist myself, it seems a little bit more black and white. Like just, okay, I made this and I put it in the universe and in the studio, and then I mix and master, and then it's kind of like out. But for this, it feels like there was a lot more time in between, just as far as how the books are released and the time it takes to plan it all. It was an interesting process, I will say, because the first iteration of the book was actually in 2020.
Oh, wow.
Before Hazel. So
It's
now
been a journey.
this, so, but it was really cool to collaborate with her on this.
Were you hard on yourself during this process? Like, how would you say the difference is when you're judging, your writing and putting this book out there versus being in the studio and the songwriting, like you said, and mixing and mastering?
Actually, this process felt a lot less pressurized, to be honest. It felt playful, probably because I'm not dependent on being an author for income. It's really just out of love and inspiration and wanting to make a difference in a different way creatively. So it felt more like a side project that's really, really impactful, that didn't have to have so much pressure, because it's not how I provide for Hazel. It really is, the intention is to do exactly what I'm saying. It's to ease separation anxiety and to help parents process the guilt and have a book that they can use to bond and express that. And it opens a space for those questions that maybe the child will have, or some comforting words that the parent wants to express. This is kind of the platform and the start of those things. So
I love that. Like, your passion project didn't have to have so much pressure, like you said. It's like
Yeah.
able to just naturally live.
Yes.
I'm going to check in on fans and some more questions over here.
Okay.
Let's see what we got going on. All right. So, this is from Diana. She said, did Hazel influence any specific part of the story's illustrations?
I definitely, writing the book, the character being a star is definitely because I feel like Hazel is a star. Hazel is a superstar. But I always have loved the idea and the look of outer space and the moon and the sun and nature and like being connected and like all of the symbolism within the stars. So I would say she inspired that. As far as colors, her favorite color is rainbow, is what she says.
Oh, I
So
love
the
that.
more colors I
All of
get,
it.
she's like everything. So the more that I can incorporate more color, it would entice children. And I had to go completely outside of my aesthetic because usually I'm an earth tone, shouty, like brown, brown, brown. Everything in my whole house is earth tone with like some plants. So this feels like a portal and an escape and a different world. So I was happy to integrate more color into what I'm.
Hazel's pop of color.
Yeah, the one thing she gets in the house to be colorful. But yeah, she really enjoys the artwork too.
Amazing. From Sophia, she said, I think we kind of touched on this earlier. Would you ever release a children's music album to go along with books?
I feel like eventually I may get there, but until I feel like conquer my author hat, I wouldn't want to lean into music, which is already a successful space for me. And maybe I'm doing it the hard way, I don't know, but like I just feel so passionate just about the book form. And then we've done the audiobook together, so technically you hear my voice and her voice reading the book, but not in a musical way.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. Y'all
Yeah.
see, y'all gotta go purchase. As we've been saying, hit shop on TalkShopLive, comment shop on Instagram or Facebook. I love that you guys did the audiobook together.
Yes.
This question's from Emma. Why did you call your book Everywhere You Are?
The book is meant to symbolize love and the presence of love. So when I think of, I kind of referenced God before about his omnipresence and knowing that he's protecting you everywhere you are, or an angel. Doesn't matter if you got on a plane and they didn't have a ticket. Doesn't matter if you got on a bus and there's no one beside you. Like, you have angels around you everywhere you are. And I wanted my love as a mother to feel like that, and especially explain that to children and let them know that wherever they travel, mom's love, dad's love, uncle's love, auntie's love, sister, everyone is with you still because of your love for each other, or literally your DNA. We are everywhere you are and we stick together. So driving that message home was important to me, so I thought it should be the title.
Well, see, I gotta go listen to the audiobook because now I'm like, you should be doing meditation. You got me over here calm. I'm like, yes, girl, you right.
Yeah. I would do that, actually.
I want to talk to you about also releasing a Spanish language edition of the book.
Yes.
So would you consider it being in more languages, or why was that important to you?
Well, one thing that was super important to me as a parent was that Hazel was bilingual. I took French in high school, and I don't remember a thing.
Not a damn
You know
thing,
what I'm
girl.
saying?
I know how I was in Spanish. Don't remember.
So I felt like it was so important to start from a young age and integrate another language when it's super easy for them to absorb. She's such a sponge right now. So I made it my point to have nannies that speak Spanish and only speak to her in Spanish since she was a baby. For her, since this book is dedicated to her, she'll be able to, when she reads, she can read it in Spanish and English, and I wanted to be able to reach more people too. And thinking about also my own nanny who has her own children, and thinking about the hours she spends at my house, and she's able to take that book home and read to her children as an example, like, okay, I love you, I'm doing this work because to provide for our household and to do things, but my love follows you. So I just wanted to make sure that at least on this continent right here, we're covered.
There
Yeah.
you go. Oh, that's
Yes.
so awesome. And then, I mean, you've had obviously an audience growth that has continued to grow with you throughout your music career. So
Yeah.
after the Grammy season, after everything that's happened, like, how do you manage it now? Like, how do you feel like you've grown since then?
I feel like I want to go back to before it happened, the mentality, because it feels like pressure, to be honest. Like, the pressure that I don't feel about this, I do feel musically, because you want to come back into the same space with the same amount of hunger, the same amount of success, if not more. And I'm not surprised about it because people warn you, like, your second, the album after a successful one is the one people are really watching, like, can you do it again? And it's like that with sports. It's like, okay, you won the championship, do it again. It's always that. So I do feel a lot of pressure, but I think with my team and the people around me, calming me and having things organized and making sure I'm on point, take some of that pressure off so I can take my time. And then also focusing on other creative things so I'm not validated just by only one avenue of success. That'll help too.
Mention your team there. What would you say is like the best tool that you have when you're looking at motherhood, singer-songwriter, author, and like juggling all these balls?
I think it's people. Like, I would not be able to do it as a lone star. And I don't get to any award show, any stage, any song. None of it is done by myself. So I just think the benefit of living on Earth is there are other people that can help you and have similar passions. And you can use each other and lean on each other for that type of support and conversations and push when things feel difficult, and be collaborative.
And I feel like you used the word collaborative, like, because you also has been a songwriter even before you were an artist.
Yes.
I feel like, so how has the collaborative process changed for you when you're writing for yourself versus writing for others? Has that changed since you won?
I think that my writing process hasn't really changed. When I'm writing for other artists, I think there's more opportunity for them to bring in more people as far as different songwriters. For me, I'm kind of just asking my friends. It feels like a hangout. And the producers I love to work with are pretty much the same guys. I like to keep my team. I try to keep at least the process the same, because that's another thing that happens after success. You try to switch it up.
It's like, why switch up what's not broke?
Right, it worked. We liked the syrup, how it tasted. You know what I mean? Do the same thing again. I'm trying not to change too much while still allowing for growth and exploration and new collaborations with the same foundation that I had, but just like some sprinkles on top, or, just small changes.
And before we move on back to Everywhere You Are, anything you would want to tease that your fans haven't heard yet that you want to tell them that are waiting on new stuff from you?
I just want to tell you that it's coming. There's a lot of changes internally that are happening that you wouldn't know about business-wise, but I'm working on it, I promise you. And I don't want to release anything until I have that feeling that it's perfect for you guys and that it's the best thing that I could create in this era. So that's the only holdup. I just don't want to release no bull.
Because you care.
Yeah, I really
do.
do.
You want it to be good, like the book.
Yeah.
So before, I want to, again, guys, make sure you go hit shop on TalkShopLive, comment shop on Instagram or Facebook. But if you don't mind, can you read a passage for us?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Should I go from the top?
You pick your own passage. I'm going to trust you to read whatever part of the book you would like to.
You know what? I'm going to go from the top. This makes the most sense. This book is called Everywhere You Are. And I've got my autograph in there for you who are purchasing right now. Another title page, and this is how the book starts. Sometimes the moon looks big. Sometimes the moon looks small. Sometimes the sky is dark and you can't see the moon at all. I feel like a teacher. Remember when they used to hold it like this? Did your teacher do that? But even when the moon seems to go away at dawn, we know inside our hearts the moon is never really gone. I will read a couple more pages.
By the way, our teachers also didn't have nails that great.
Right. Girl. Okay. Think of me as the moon. It's always in the sky. Just like I will forever be a bright light in your life. I feel like that's a good place to stop.
So prettiful. So prettiful. So beautiful.
I like that word.
It is prettiful. Oh my God, I love that, and I'm so happy that you have that for Hazel and for everybody else that could be helping as parents. So thank you for hanging out with us here at Billboard and bringing your book by.
Thank you for hanging out with me and you guys too. Thank you guys for joining.
Yes, everybody, thank you guys for sending in your questions. Make sure you hit shop on TalkShopLive. Make sure you comment shop on Instagram or Facebook to pre-order your book and get it signed. It's signed. You can get that right here, right now. So thanks, guys. Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.